Welcome back. And we were talking about TOS matrix. This is the tabular display in front of you. This is a 9-cell matrix. And in this 9-cell matrix, we have on the top internal factors, which are coming from IFE or IFAS. Over here, we write 5 to 10 internal strengths, 5 to 10 internal weaknesses. They're all posted directly from the IFE matrix or IFAS matrix. And on the left side, we can see external factors, which are coming from EFAS or EFE matrix. And we write 5 to 10 external opportunities over here and 5 to 10 external threats over here. Now, remember the delicacy of these matrices, that supposedly if you have not collected the right data in IFE and EFE, you would not be able to progress in these matrices. So you have to be very much careful that whatever strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threats you have written in those matrices, they are going to generate a match. And if you would be unable to create a match over here, that would definitely mean that your internal or external audit is having problems. Now, once the strength, weakness, opportunity, threats are written over here, the 4 boxes we are left with, which are colored in my slide, we're going to talk about SO strategies, WO strategies, ST strategies, and WT strategies. And we look at their combinations once again that generate strategies here that use strengths to take advantage of opportunities. In case of WO, generate strategies here that take advantage of opportunities by overcoming weaknesses. In case of ST, generate strategies here that use strengths to avoid threats. In case of WT, generate strategies here that minimize weaknesses and avoid threats. Now, let me show you a filled version of this TOS matrix. Let me show you a filled version of this TOS matrix. Now, why you are using the word TOS over here instead of SWOT matrix? Because different authors have given it a different name. Like Fred R. David is talking about SWOT matrix, and this particular slide I'm showing you is from the book of Whelan and Hunger, and he has used the word of TOS matrix. Remember that either it is SWOT or it is TOS, it is just an abbreviation. The words are constant. We are talking about SWOT, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Now, in case of abbreviation, you have the option that if the meaning is not being changed, you can switch the words like one before the other. Okay, so otherwise there is no difference between SWOT or TOS matrix. Now, this is a filled table I have for your SWOT matrix, or for that matter, TOS matrix. This is a SWOT matrix for a retail computer store. We can see 8 strengths, 9 weaknesses, 8 opportunities, and 6 threats. And also remember that strategic options are not necessarily restricted to only corporate level. They can be developed at business level. They can be developed at functional level. And we are just looking at a small setup, which is just a retail computer store. And the people at retail computer store, they are planning to craft their strategic options. They are formally planning and looking at that what options are available to them in the light of their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, looking at the strengths, they say that their strength is inventory turnover up 5.8 to 6.7. Their second strength is average customer purchase up $97 to $128. The third strength they have is employee morale is excellent. The fourth strength they have is in-store promotion is equal to 20% increase in sales, and so on. Their weaknesses are software revenue in store down by 12%, location of store hurt by new like a road, which is highway 34, carpet and paint in store in disrepair, bathroom in store needs refurbishing, total store revenue down by 8%. So these are the issues related with a small business. In case of opportunities, population of city growing 10%, rival computer stores opening 1 mile away, vehicle traffic passing over by the store up by 12%, and so on. And more the traffic rush, they are having the more opportunity that people may stop at the store. The threat can be that Best Buy opening new store in 1 year nearby. That is the competition. Local university offers computer repair, and so on. Now, coming to the SO, WO, and ST and WT strategies, look at the first SO. And in point number 1 in SO strategies, we are making a match or a mix of S4 and O3. S4 would mean we have taken the fourth strength, and O3 means that we have taken the third opportunity, and putting these two together, the fourth strength and the third opportunity, the strategy is add 4 new in-store promotions monthly. Now the third opportunity was vehicle traffic passing store up 12%, and the strength was in-store promotion is equal to 20% increase in sales, and the SO option we have is add 4 new in-store promotions monthly. Look at the second SO strategy. It is having the combination of S6 and O5. S6 is revenue from repair services in store up 16%. And O5 is that senior citizens use of computers up 8%. So the combination they have made is add 2 new repair service persons in the store. Okay. So look at the strategic options we are having. We are not talking about conglomerate diversification. We are not talking about backward vertical integration or retrenchment. We are using simple options. We are using simple, straightforward statements to tell us that in the light of our strengths and weaknesses, what can be the opportunities and threats. And no doubt, the complications would increase as the magnitude of the organization would increase. So that would also give us a clue that all these strategic frames are equally applicable in small, medium, and large enterprises. Okay. So now let's look at the WO strategies. In WO strategies, we are using the combination of W2 and O2. The W2 is location of store hurt by new highway 34, and O2 is rival computer stores opening 1 mile away. Now, having a combination of these two, the strategic option the computer retail store is having is purchase land to build new store. Okay. Now let's take an example from the ST strategies. In ST, they are using 2 strengths, S6 and S7, and picking up the threat 1. Now S6 is revenue from repair service in store up 16%. S7 is in-store technical support persons have MIS degrees. And T1 is Best Buy opening new store in 1 year. Now, having a combination of 2 strengths and 1 threat, the ST strategy would be hire 2 more repair persons and market these new services. Okay. So let's look at the WT strategies. And in case of WT, let's talk about the second WT strategy. In the second WT strategy, we are taking W3 and W4, these 2 weaknesses, and T1 as our threat. So W3 is carpet and paint in store in disrepair, and W4 is bathroom in store needs refurbishing, and the T1 is Best Buy opening new store in 1 year nearby. So what we can do is install new carpet, paint, and bath. Okay. So again, it is quite evident that it is not necessarily that we always need to talk about the big corporations and only they can make the strategies. Small setups with their little concerns, which are no doubt major for them, they can also have strategic options, and they can also plan formally that how to achieve their objectives more appropriately with higher efficiency and effectiveness. And they can also conduct internal and external audits to find out that what are the circumstances prevailing for them. Now we are moving towards the second matrix in the matching stage, which is the space matrix. It is a quantitative matrix in which we'll do certain calculations, and a very detailed analysis would be required to make the space matrix. In the space matrix, as you can see in the graphical representation in front of you in the slide, there are 4 quadrants. The upper left is conservative. The upper right is aggressive. The lower left is defensive. And the lower right is competitive. And under these 4 quadrants, conservative, aggressive, defensive, and competitive, we have sorted out different strategies, the alternatives, which can be used in case our company, after calculations, would be part of any of these quadrants. For example, supposedly, after calculations, our company is part of conservative quadrant. So if we are in conservative quadrant, it would be recommended that we should be following market penetration, market development, product development, and related diversification. Supposedly, if our company is in aggressive quadrant, we'll be following backward, forward, horizontal integration, market penetration, market development, product development, diversification, related or unrelated. In case of the defensive situation, that if our company is in the defensive quadrant, we'll be following retrenchment, divestiture, and liquidation. And supposedly, if our organization happens to fall in competitive quadrant, we'll be following backward, forward, horizontal integration, market penetration, market development, and product development. If you could see that some of these strategies are repetitive in different quadrants, what can be the reason for that? I'll be discussing it in detail in the coming slides. Now let's start the space matrix in detail. The strategic position and action evaluation matrix is a 4-quadrant framework which indicates whether aggressive, conservative, defensive, or competitive strategies are most appropriate for a given organization. Now, to calculate our position in the 4 quadrants, we need to talk about the 4 dimensions which we need to have calculated to finalize the situation of our company, of our organization in the space matrix. And those 4 dimensions are 2 internal and 2 external. Let me show you the graphical representation of space again. We can see in this graphical representation, there are axis values, FP, CP, SP, and IP on the positive and negative y-axis and positive and negative x-axis. We are referring to these values now. So 2 internal dimensions, they are financial position, abbreviated as FP, and comparative position, abbreviated as CP, and 2 external dimensions, stability position, SP, and industry position, IP. Most important determinants of an organization's overall strategic position. So that is the bottom line which your author has given, that these are the 4 most important determinants of an organization's overall strategic position, keeping in view 2 internal and 2 external dimensions. Now let's see that what we have to take in these dimensions. For example, when you are concerned with financial position, FP, you need to talk about the financial situation of the firm. For example, in terms of return on investment, leverage, liquidity, working capital, cash flow, inventory turnover, earnings per share, price earnings ratio, and so on. There can be so many aspects related to financial position of a firm. When you talk about stability position, SP, the things we need to calculate are technological changes, rate of inflation, demand variability, price range of competing products, barriers to entry into market, comparative pressure, ease of exit from market, price elasticity of demand, risk involved in business. So these are all the stability position factors, which would be coming from the external audit or external strategic position. When we talk about comparative position, CP, the factors we might be taking are market share, product quality, product life cycle, customer loyalty, capacity utilization, technological know-how, control over suppliers and distributors, and many more. Remember that these are just examples. You can take these as same, or you can have other variables included in CP, FP, SP, and IP. Now, in case of IP, industry position, the factors we should be talking about are like growth potential, profit potential. It can be financial stability. It can be extent leveraged. It can be resource utilization, ease of entry into market, productivity, capacity utilization. So these are the factors we need to talk about in terms of industry position. Now, there are certain steps to be followed which would lead us through the calculations related to the space matrix. Pay your full attention to understand the concept. The first step we have is select a set of variables to define financial position, FP, comparative position, CP, stability position, SP, and industry position, IP. First of all, I'll move through the steps of developing a space matrix, and then I'll be showing you the complete example, a solved numerical, that how do we technically do it. The second point is assign a numerical value ranging from +1, which would mean worst, to +7, which would mean best, to each of the variable that makes up the FP and IP dimensions. Now let me show you the diagram once again. We can see in this diagram, the FP is positive y-axis and IP is positive x-axis. And in case of FP, the +1 value would mean worst situation, and +6 and +7 would show the best situation. And in case of IP, the +1 on the x-axis, IP is on the x-axis. In case of IP, the +1 would show the worst situation, and the +7 would show the best situation. Now, contrary to that, assign a numerical value ranging from -1 best and -7 worst to each of the variable that make up the SP and CP dimension. Now we have to change the parameters. Let me move to the diagram again. Here comes the diagram. Here comes the graph. On the negative y-axis, remember that the value of -1 is greater than -7. So in that case, -1 on the y-axis related to SP would be showing the good result, the good score, the best score. And in case of -7, it would be the worst. And in terms of negative x-axis, in case of CP, the -1 is better than -7. Now let me read this second step with you once again so that things get more clear. That assign a numerical value ranging from +1 worst to +7 best to each of the variable that make up the FP and IP dimension. Assign a numerical value ranging from -1 best to -7 worst to each of the variables that make up the SP or CP dimensions. Step 3, compute an average score for FP, CP, IP, and SP. Okay. So what we would do is that these are the variables supposedly we have picked, and I'm going to tell you how do you calculate the average values of financial position. Now supposedly you have got the numbers with you after internal audit, and look at the financial position factors: return on investment, leverage, liquidity, working capital, cash flows, and you assign values to these factors out of the range which is +1 worst and +7 best. Now supposedly if I assign different numerical values, return on investment, suppose I say 3, leverage I say 3, liquidity I say 5, working capital I say 2, so I'm randomly giving different numbers, okay, after my analysis obviously. So once I have given the rating to these factors, I'm going to do the sum total of all the ratings. Suppose 3, 3, 5, and 4. So 3 and 3 make 6. Adding 5 would make 11, and adding 4 would make 15. So I have to divide this 15 by the number of factors I have considered, which are 4. So if I divide 15 by 4, the value which I would get is the value I have to put or mark on the positive y-axis of FP. I'll be showing you the complete numerical once the points are discussed with you. So same way, the SP, IP, and CP values would be calculated. And remember that 2 of these values are having the negative scores, and two of these factors dimensions are going to have the positive scores, as we discussed in point number 2. Now point 4 would be plot the average score for FP, IP, SP, and CP on the appropriate axis in the space matrix. And the point 5 is add the 2 scores on x-axis and plot the resultant point on x, add the 2 scores on the y-axis and plot the resultant point on y, plot the intersection of new xy point. Okay. The step 6, draw a directional vector from the origin of the space matrix through the new intersection point. This vector reveals the type of strategies recommended for the organization. And the direction vector would be in either of these quadrants. It can be in the aggressive quadrant, competitive quadrant, defensive quadrant, or conservative quadrant. Now, these are few of the solved examples I have. Please carefully watch my mouse movement. On the FP axis, we have to calculate the values given to financial position. And suppose we have taken four factors in financial position calculation. We assign those four factors rating from 1 to 7. The 1 would mean worst situation and the 7 would mean best financial situation considering that particular factor. So after rating those four factors, we'll get the total score by summing up those four ratings. And after summing up those four ratings, you have to calculate the average score for FP. Okay. Now, to calculate the average score for FP, we sum up the four factors and divide by the number of factors we have taken, and we would put a mark over here. The resultant answer would be over here. Suppose in this for example, in this diagram, we have the value of +4. Now this +4 is not just the value coming from the FP axis. This +4 is the cumulative value of FP and SP. We'll do the same procedure on the SP and we add the SP score in the FP score and we get the value +4. And this +4 would mean that the SP value is either 1 or 2 and the FP value, the average value we have calculated is either 7 or 6 or 5. And by adding the negative SP value in the positive FP value, we get the total score, which is +4 for x-axis and +4 for y-axis. So as you know, in graphical representations, first of all, we write x-axis. The first +4 is for x and the next +4 is for the y. And we are in aggressive quadrant. And how do we get in this aggressive quadrant? Because we have to join the points from FP and IP as a cumulative points. And then by joining a direction vector from the origin of the graph to that intersection point. Another example is +1 +5. This is again in aggressive profile, but we can see in this diagram that the direction vector is more tilted towards the other quadrant. In this case, the direction vector is in the middle. In this case, the tilt of the vector is towards more this quadrant. If the slope of the curve is more towards the other quadrant, the overlapping of strategic choices would be there. That was the reason that we could see that repeated strategies were given in all the four quadrants. In this particular example, where my mouse cursor is moving in the lower left part of the slide, this is the example for conservative profile. And this conservative profile, the values, cumulative values are -2 +4. And it is said that the firm that has achieved financial strength in a stable industry that is not growing, the firm has few comparative advantages. But in case of +4 and +4, it was interpreted that a financially strong firm that has achieved major comparative advantages in a growing and stable industry. And in case of +1 and +5, a firm whose financial strength is a dominating factor in the industry. And in case of -5 and +2, a firm that suffers from major comparative disadvantages in an industry that is technologically stable but declining in sales. Let's look at some more examples and then we'll be solving the whole numerical. For example, in this case, +5 and -1, a firm with major comparative advantages in a high growth industry, and comparative profile for this firm is +1 - 4, which means an organization that is competing fairly well in an unstable industry. In case of defensive profiles, a firm that has a very weak comparative position in a negative growth and stable industry, and the values are -5, -1, these are cumulative values. And in this case, -1, -5, a financially troubled firm in a very unstable industry. And the quadrant we have is defensive in this case of -1 and -5, or in case of -5 or -1. Now, let's look at how these calculations are technically done. We are taking the example of a bank. Okay. Now, the financial position of the bank is calculated by these 4 points. The first point is the bank's primary capital ratio is 7.23%, which is 1.23% points over the generally required ratio of 6%. Okay. The second financial position of the bank is the bank's return on assets is negative 0.77 compared to the bank industry average ratio of positive 0.70. The third situation is the bank's net income was $183 million, down by 9% from a year earlier. And the fourth financial position factor is the bank's revenues increased 7% to 3.46 billion. Now we have to rate these 4 financial positions related to the bank out of 1 to 7, and the 1 represents worst, 3 would represent something like average, and the 4 is moving towards betterment. Now what we have to do, we have to add these factors. 1 and 1 makes 2, 2 and 3 makes 5, and 5 and 4 makes 9. So 9 is the financial position dimensional total. Same way we do industry position, we do stability position, we do comparative position. After industry position, we get the total value of 10. This is just some of the factors we have given. Out of stability position, as the values are in negative connotation, the value is negative 13. And in case of comparative position CP, we get the total of -9. Now what we have to do, we have to add positive y-axis and negative y-axis, and we have to add positive x-axis and negative x-axis. So for that matter, it is said that SP average is, the value was 13. You can see SP value is 13. 13 divided by 3 is equal to -4.33. This is the average of SP. Average of IP is 3.33. Average of CP is -3, and average of FP is 2.25. And you have to add negative x-axis with positive x-axis, the average values, and negative y-axis into positive y-axis. So that is the calculation over here. The direction vector coordinates for the x-axis are -3 plus, with a plus sign, 3.33, and that would be equal to 0.33. That is the cumulative point for x-axis. And the cumulative point for the y-axis after calculation would be -2.08. So once you have plotted the cumulative points of x-axis and y-axis, you have to drop the perpendiculars from those 2 points. And once the perpendicular is being dropped, you have to see where the perpendiculars are intersecting. And those intersection points of the perpendiculars would be joined with the origin of the graph, which is point 0 location. And you have to extend a line from the origin to the intersection of the perpendiculars. And that would be the direction vector. Okay. And in the situation we are just looking at the example of the bank should pursue competitive strategies because the cumulative values are referring us to move towards the competitive quadrant. So that is how you make the space matrix. And very soon you will be making the space matrix of the firms you are working upon. And again, remember that if your internal and external audit is weak, you would not be able to come up with these complications and these details. So that is the reason that it was strongly recommended that you should be very much careful in your assessment of internal and external factors. Your IFE, EFE metrics, your CPM values, they are the basis, they are the inputs which you require to make the matrices of the matching stage. And matching stage matrices are also the checks upon your input data. And if your input data is not authenticated, obviously the output of the matching stage matrices would also be crippled. So here ends our next session, this session, and we'll be joining inshallah in our next session. So hurry up for more matrices to come.